Hi, and welcome back to Married to Cinema. I'm Brian.
I'm Whitney,
I love movies.
and I don't.
So we were away for a while, doing many projects and going on excursions. But we are now back with this film. This very interesting film called...
My Sister's Keeper. It came out in '09, I believe. This was from my grab bag. This is the last film Brian picked before we took our summer break, if you will. My Sister's Keeper is the story of a young girl, 11-year-old or 12-year-old girl, who is suing her parents for the rights to her own medical choices for her body because they're basically using her as a living tissue sample and sort of organ farm for the older sister who is in a severe stage of cancer. And in the whole movie, obviously the big problem at hand would be that the older sister is going to pass soon. She's not doing well. But it really tosses a lot of other issues that come up when there is something so profound happening in a family. So it's one of my favorite dramas. I hadn't seen it in probably damn near close to 8 years. But, watching it again, I was worried maybe it would not hold as much water for me, but I really liked it still. So what did you think? I know it was not your cup of tea, so let me have it.
My Sister's Keeper, directed by Nick Cassavetes, who people will know, who directed The Notebook and Alpha Dog. He was also an actor. He was in Face Off, the classic Nick Cage, John Travolta film by John Woo. And of course, most importantly, he's the son of famed director John Cassavetes. He's an interesting director, and this movie was fucking weird. This was absolutely bonkers. I was watching this like, what the hell am I watching right now? Because the film has different twists and turns, and it's very odd the way it's handled. And to me, it didn't work as a drama. They should have framed it and made it as a thriller. I think it would have been really cool as a thriller. Yeah, just with the way it's done, with the different twists that come about, especially with the way that the family has made this girl in vitro and raised her just to harvest her organs, essentially. Which is a pretty dark idea. And at some point, like, the parents even acknowledge how, like, it's really messed up that they created this life form just for this purpose. That's how I will start that idea. Do you have anything?
I mean, but isn't that the whole concept? We're looking at we're looking at parents who... Okay, you are the viewer is made to think, in my opinion, that Anna, the youngest sister, who has been was designed in vitro, or however the heck you want to say it, before she was born, to make sure she was going to be an exact match for the older sister, Kate, who was sick already. I think you're supposed to feel that Anna is the main character of this film. And Anna is the one... Oh, hello, Gigi.
Gigi is the main character of this episode.
Take her down.
She is fighting for relevance.
Get her off the screen.
She's like, I have the right to this episode.
Gigi, I'm talking. Mommy's turn. Okay. But in reality, I really don't think that Anna is the main character, and I don't think Kate's the main character. The character that you see have the revelation and grow the most in this is their mom, who's played by, is it Cameron?
Cameron Diaz.
That's the character that you realize everything. I mean, realize that she's not alienated one, not two, but three children because she's forcing Kate to stay alive. Kate wasn't supposed to live past 7 or 8, and I am sure that, a mother's love knows no bounds. They say, I'm sure she's doing what she thought was right, but, Kate is suffering to an immense degree. The second child, Jesse, I mean, they have a whole scene where they talk about he had some undiagnosed dyslexia or learning disorders, and they were super brushed to the side because they didn't make time for him because mom was hyper-focused on Kate.
There's a middle child who's a boy in this scenario, by the way. We did not mention that earlier.
Yes, Jesse is their middle child, and then, of course, Anna, the youngest one, realizes I'm a parts bag. Like,
And I should have a right to do with my body. Like, I should have control over that, not my parents. Like, even though I am just a child, they're trying to harvest my organs.
I mean, it's a valid point. And so I think the mom really is the most, three-dimensional, you know what I mean? The most well-rounded character in the film. What do you think?
It's interesting you say that because I think on page it can come off that way, but I think on screen, I think Cameron Diaz is a terrible actress. She is pitiful. She can hold comedy if she has stronger comedic leading men like holding her up. Like not leading men, but leading performers holding her up. For example, her comedic work works better because there's greater comedic backbone with the writing or some of the other performers. This one, between this and The Counselor, she does not sell a single thing. And she would be doing alright if this were like a Hallmark movie, which is the vibe I got through a lot of it until it started taking all these weird turns. So I want to agree and say that she is the backbone, but Cameron Diaz is incapable of carrying it that way.
So you think the character is written to be that way, and you can see that they tried to do it, but you think Cameron Diaz was a poor vehicle for that?
She was a poor choice, absolutely.
Okay. That's
yes.
fair.
If they had gotten a better actress, like, I can think of several, but I'm not a Cameron Diaz fan, and
The better Cameron Diaz. What's the one that's her but better? Also has a boy's name, looks really similar. Drew Barrymore.
Drew Barrymore. Not a Drew Barrymore fan either.
Oh man, we differ there because I think Drew Barrymore's awesome.
I don't think so. Because I think, like, for example, like the redheads, like Amy Adams or Jessica Chastain would have done gangbusters with it. However, Chastain wasn't. Either one of them weren't quite the right age and on the scene at this time. Amy Adams was on the scene, but she wasn't old enough yet. But someone like, I don't know, even Courtney Cox.
Oh, that would have been
so much better. That would have been so much better.
Yeah.
Anything. Jennifer Aniston, better. Anything.
That
would be like if we were remaking Philadelphia and we couldn't get Tom Hanks, so we got Pauly Shore. Granted, I'd be all for that, but it wouldn't work as a drama.
Well, okay, so fair point. But I just want to know if you felt emotionally anything from this, or was just weird for you?
I thought the film was very detached between the different like twists and turns that the story went through, so that it couldn't really cling on to anything emotionally. Between like the twists and turns and the off-kilter performances, which didn't completely work, the film just failed for me as a drama. Even one that I feel like is objectively one that is one of the more emotionally manipulative films. And I'm talking like films like Philadelphia, like I mentioned earlier. Like films like that. I don't think this
that's
worked.
Emotionally manipulative. This wasn't emotionally manipulative.
It's because it didn't work on an emotional level, because it was off-kilter with both its tone and its performances.
Okay, so The Art of Racing in the Rain or whatever.
Yeah, that was
Emotionally
that was
manipulative.
shamelessly emotionally manipulative.
And that made me cry for like days. We're not going back to that because it's horrible.
This one wasn't as shameless. This one was just like ridiculous and silly.
It's not. Like, it wasn't silly. I think.
I looked up like this better have been based on a true story, and no, it's by Jodi Picoult, I believe her name is, the young adult writer.
Yeah,
and it's one of her books. Like
she's great.
Of course, this was not a true story because there's no way it could be because this is ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. I don't think anything in that story was so far out in left field that it couldn't have been realistically believable.
Really?
Really. Was it played up a little bit? Yes. There were some pieces to it that were just a little too extra. For example, Alec Baldwin's character as the lawyer. I liked him as the lawyer.
You mean Jack Donaghy, the lawyer?
He was playing
Jack Donaghy
the entire
time. I couldn't look past it. And that, I think, was the biggest thing. And then they tried to, like, play an emotional card towards the end where it's like, oh, he was epileptic the entire time. And it's like, he's Jack Donaghy who has a seizure.
But
nothing.
No, but
you get nothing from me.
The reason that they show that he's epileptic at the end like that is because, and we know something's wrong with him throughout the film, or not wrong necessarily, but that he has some sort of issue that requires a service dog, because he's got a service dog from the very beginning, and he says it's a service dog, but you never know why. That whole piece, though, playing in towards the end during the courtroom scene is to make the connection. This is why a lawyer would go out of his way to represent a child in a medical case who has no money against her own parents when one of her parents is a prominent lawyer. Like, I felt that was very necessary. It humanized him and made his choices make sense. From the acting standpoint, if I was reading this and it was a script I was going to be involved in, I'd say, well, now that character has some relevance, because otherwise it's like, I'm just a lawyer, and I'm just gonna represent this kid for $700. Like
Nick Kroll in Loving, where Nick Kroll is playing a lawyer in this very serious movie, and all of a sudden you're like, why is Nick Kroll here? God damn it, why is Nick Kroll here? But anyway, describing that, you don't realize how, like, ridiculous and over the top the story is. It's pretty far-fetched and out there.
I don't think so. I think it's it's no more far-fetched and out there than any other drama, in my opinion.
I wouldn't say that.
I don't think, there was nothing in this that wasn't believable to me.
This is a very melodramatic film, and melodramas in general are pretty far-fetched. It's just how far they go varies from film to film. But this film is very melodramatic.
I like it. And I think that the story works.
I understand that.
And I can see that it was adapted from a longer piece, such as a novel. It's very obvious, because there's a lot of development in there that...
And one thing we haven't talked about at all is the father.
Well, that's because he sucks. I'll give you that. The guy that played the dad was sucky.
Jason Patric, I thought he did a much better job than Cameron Diaz. Like, I don't think Jason Patric is great. He's very much a B-movie actor. His biggest claim to fame, it was Lost Boys, and then he had a mild indie resurgence with Joe Carnahan's Narc in 2002. Beyond that, he's not a great actor, but I thought he was working as best he could with this, but this script just kind of gave him the shit end of the stick. Very much so, because you even like the father character more than the mother. Like, you don't like the mother character.
You're not supposed to like the mom until she realizes.
But you like the dad.
You're supposed to respect her, but not like her.
They just didn't give the dad enough to do. But also there's the angle where the dad his profession is he's a firefighter, which made me crack up, because it made me think of the show Entourage, where there's one bit in an episode where Jason Patric is playing a firefighter in a movie. So when they revealed the dad is a firefighter, that was all I could think about. And now I'm like, great, I'm watching an episode of Entourage right now.
So we haven't talked about one big thing in here, and it would be
it's true.
Kate the sick daughter.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, we really haven't talked about the development of that character or anything about it. But also, she has this really, like, semi-bizarre relationship with another
semi-bizarre.
dude that's
Pretty
got
bizarre.
cancer.
He's also got cancer.
So she's supposed to be 14, 15-ish.
Yeah, and so she was about 15, 16 when the actress who plays Kate filmed this movie. And she has a love interest angle in the film with an actor who was about 6 years older than her, which just made watching it creepy because you could tell he's substantially older. And
I
he's
will
played
agree.
for a lot of the people who watch this, you'll recognize him. He's Thomas Dekker from such films as Kaboom and the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. He's the love interest, and it's so obvious that he's older, so anytime they kiss, it's just so creepy and hard to watch because it's like, oh, God.
So the love,
no.
and the thing about the love interest, okay, I retract an earlier statement. There is one portion of this that was a little too dramatic for me. And it is that Kate falls in love with this guy, who I can't remember his name, played by Thomas Dekker. And he also has cancer, and they go to, like, the hospital kind of throws a dance for kids that are sick. And they end up, like, getting a little intimate, and then she thinks he ghosted him, but he actually died. And no one has contacted them to tell them. That part was a little too dramatic. I think they could have removed that piece, and the rest of it would have been really good. That, I will give you that particular plot point was a little much. But
yeah.
I also think they're humanizing death. I think that they were, I don't know. I have feelings about this film. I like this film. But, okay.
I don't know. I think the feelings might get in the way of actually viewing the film from the same lens as I do, but I think you've had more of a history with this film than I do, so that makes a big difference. So for me, I would go into this having never seen it before, obviously looking through it from a more objective lens. So I would see these issues, and I wouldn't be able to look past them like you would. So I would find it very far-fetched and over the top.
And I will say, I also like Jodi Picoult.
That's a huge factor, too, because I know that name so well, but honestly, I couldn't name a single work she'd done.
We probably have a couple books of hers on the shelf.
I've seen that name so many times, and all over the place. I can't think of a single title except for My Sister's Keeper. I think it's interesting that you think that Jason Patric is the worst in this film. In a film where Cameron Diaz is one of the leads, Jason Patric is the worst. That's... oof.
So... Alright, beating a dead horse. Final thoughts.
Maybe I'm just hating on Patrick.
It's okay.
Hating on Diaz,
It's okay, because I slam your films all the time.
That's true, it's true. I'm sorry, I'm just not into this one. Like I said, I thought it would work better as a thriller. And what's funny to me is there's one scene that there's an appearance, I don't remember what scene or what character she played at this point, so we watched it a few nights ago, and I've just blanked a lot of it out. But, genre actress Lynn Shay pops up in one scene. I want to say she's a receptionist or a nurse, and I'm like, oh my god, it's Lynn Shay, who's, the founder of New Line's sister, Bob Shay, who's in the original Nightmare and Alone in the Dark.
What does Lynn Shay look like?
Insidious. Older woman. She was in Insidious.
Okay.
I'll show you a picture later. She was in There's Something About Mary, which is Cameron Diaz's best work, in my opinion. But she's in all these films, and the common trait is that all the films that she is featured in, for no apparent reason, really, is that they're New Line films, New Line Cinema. Except for, I don't think Insidious wasn't. That was Blumhouse, so that would have been Universal. Mm-hmm. Anyway, Lynn Shay pops up, and I'm like, New Line Cinema had something to do with this film. I know it. I'm calling it right now. So I looked it up, and yep, they distributed it. I don't think they produce it, but they distribute it. Or maybe I have that backwards, but I caught that and I was like, this is New Line affiliated. I know it because she's here.
Well, so rate it. Rate the film.
Rate the film. Oh, God. This movie. It could have been better if there was better performances, better scripts. Like, Nick Cassavetes is such a wild card as a director, and he's interesting to watch because of that. I have to give it, on my own standards, I can only give it a 4. This movie, there was not a lot that worked here for me.
I'm a tough grader too, but I still have to give it a 7.
Okay.
It's not great, but I think I just have a soft spot for it.
Yeah, and I tried. I gave this the benefit of the doubt, and I wasn't really hating it, but I was just like, this movie is weird. And I think we're underselling the weirdness of it. I think if you watch it yourself, you will see how weird it is. Having no prior attachment to it, just going in blind, you will see the weirdness. Oh my god. Weirdest movie she's ever had me watch, in fact.
So, last time Brian pulled My Sister's Keeper from my grab bag. Now I will be pulling from his to pick the next film, and he is happy because he does not have to watch my films.
I don't have to watch My Sister's Keeper.
Or White Chicks, or whatever else I've had you watch.
Well, this is the worst one, but next
It
I'm
is
going to be
not.
picking My Sister's Keeper 2, Secret of the Ooze, and I'll be like, damn it. I didn't know they made a sequel. Babies!
Babies!
We're harvesting babies!
Okay, here's the pick. Are you ready? Whiplash.
Ooh.
Whiplash. Is this a roller skating movie?
Nope, that's Whip It.
Aw, damn it. I wanted a roller skating movie.
No, you're thinking of the Derby film by
Yeah.
Drew Barrymore with Ellen Page
I
in
didn't
it.
know it was by
Drew Barrymore directed it, yeah.
Well, whatever Whiplash
Whiplash is a different film, and it is... A lot of you viewers are probably well aware of this Academy Award nominated
Is it
film for
spooky?
Best Picture and Academy Award winning for Best Supporting Actor. No, but it is very tense.
Love it. All right, Whiplash.
Yeah. There's one aspect of Whiplash that Whitney will not like, but I won't reveal that until the next episode.
Oh, gross. Is it a clown?
No. No,
Is it
don't
something really, really like somebody's dirty house?
worry. No, it's not a visual thing that you don't like.
Oh. Okay. Is Larry David in this?
No.
Oh, okay, because I don't like him, you guys. He irritates the shit out of me. All right. I was about to be really angry. Okay. So, thanks for listening. Shout out time.
Shout outs, yeah. Shout out to my buddy Jay. Check out Jay vs. Horror and all the fun things he does on his channel. He posts different episodes of great shows and classic cult movies. And we've been doing a Video Nasty Nightmares series, and he started a Horror Jeopardy, which is fun. Check that out.
Check Brian and I out against Kelly and
Bill.
Bill
Yeah.
on the last episode.
Bill and his girlfriend Kelly against Whitney and I on the last
or
episode.
Kelly and her boyfriend Bill.
Okay, fair.
Also,
and
check out.
Jay's wife Regina also has a great channel and show that you can tell.
You
our
can
viewers
check
about.
out Girls Love Horror 2. It is Regina, Kelly, Amy, and myself, and you can see us review different films every couple of weeks, as well as see Regina and I do some head-to-head countdown lists. We just did a countdown of our top 5 female horror leads, so check that out. We'll be reviewing some films here this Saturday. The 4 ladies will be, and we'll be dropping that too. So check all that out, like and subscribe, all of it. And yeah.
Give our buddies some love, give us some love. Just give the love around the world, because in a time like this, that's what everybody needs, is just to show love all the way around, guys.
Wear your masks. Coronavirus is real. Okay. And Black Lives Matter. All right.
Black
I'm done
Lives
now.
Matter.
Black Lives Matter. All right. Thanks, guys. See you next time.